Hello, and welcome to this edition of Footprints. I'm your host, Bob Jones.
I learned journalism as an intern.
Harald Brüning
It's
is
a
a
different
seasoned
situation at that
journalist
time.
with 4 decades of
Most journalists
experience
actually
in
started
Macau.
working
He has
as
been
an
a first-hand witness to the
intern
city's
at a
historical
newspaper or
transformation.
TV or radio station.
As Macau SAR celebrates the 25th anniversary of its return to China, Brüning shares his personal journey and insights into the past, present and future of this vibrant city. Harald Brüning remembers clearly the scene 25 years ago, in late December 1999, when an historic event happened to Macau. As a correspondent of the South China Morning Post and the Reuters news agency, he covered the handover ceremony of Macau's return to China from Portuguese rule.
And it was very busy for all of us. I also worked overnight. In that night, December 19 to December 20, I didn't sleep in that night. I even went to the airport to farewell the Portuguese governor who left Macau in that night. And I then attended also the swearing in of Macau's first chief executive, Edmund Hohauer. It's possibly the most important historic event of Macau in its history in 1999. It was well organized, it was quite smooth. I was proud and happy to be part of it as a journalist, of course.
Harald Brüning observed at the time that Macau people were very happy about returning to the motherland.
Macau people, I think, generally speaking, close to 100%. Macau people were happy about Macau finally would return to Chinese rule. You know, the atmosphere was quite festive.
Now, 25 years on, Brüning has been busy again with covering events related to the 25th anniversary of the return of Macau to the motherland. He is now overseeing a major English-language news media of the region, the Macau Post-Daily, a paper with a special focus on Macau local news.
I'm the director, that means the publisher and chief editor of our newspaper, and most of my job is to edit stories written by local reporters and also to edit news agency copy. That is a pretty busy job because in Macau and Hong Kong, a newspaper usually finish their job every day about 2:30 or 3 a.m. And I go to work normally at 3:30 p.m. You know, that's why I only get up every day about midday, noontime. So in the morning time, I'm sleeping. And we do that 5 days a week.
Brüning says the job as a journalist is often stressful but also rewarding. For him, the job has given him a vantage point in observing the development of his beloved city. And his love for Macau began in 1980, when he visited it for the first time as a tourist.
I went to Macau first time in April 1980. That's a long time ago. I went actually through Macau on the way to Zhongshan in Guangdong province to visit the birthplace of Dr. Sun Yat-sen. So I talked to local people. At that time, Macau was quite underdeveloped. It was much less developed than Hong Kong. But it was quite charming. It was a nice town. I liked it the first time I came here. The people were friendly. The food was nice.
The visit sowed a seed in his heart that one day he would like to work and live in Macau. 5 years later, in 1985, an opportunity came along.
I worked that time for the Hong Kong Standard and also for United Press International, American news agency. At that time, in the mid 1980s, Macau became much more important for journalists because the negotiations between China and Portugal concerning Macau's return to Chinese administration were taking place. So Hong Kong media and international media began to pay much more attention to Macau than before. And then I decided to move to Macau 1985, and well, I'm still here. Next year will be 40 years. I like it.
Born in Germany, Brüning is multilingual. He can speak fluent German, English, and Portuguese, one of the official languages of Macau. His language skills and interest in Macau made him an ideal candidate to work there. As he said, Macau became important in media coverage during the mid-1980s, as China and Portugal were negotiating about the future of the city. On April 13, 1987, the two countries signed the Joint Declaration on the Question of Macau by the governments of the People's Republic of China and the Republic of Portugal. The Joint Declaration states, "The government of the People's Republic of China will resume sovereignty over Macau, effective December 20, 1999. As a journalist working in Macau, Harald Brüning witnessed the process of Macau's final years before its return to the motherland.
The transition towards Macau's return to the motherland was, for me, a very important subject. I attended many of those meetings of the Macau Basic Law Drafting Committee in many cities, many times in Guangzhou. As a journalist, the political coverage, that was the most important part and kept us very busy.
Of course, he also reported on the ordinary people of Macau.
Macau then in the late 80s, development started to speed up because the situation became very clear. The Joint Declaration clarified Macau's political future, Before that, people were sort of having doubts about what would happen, how long would the Portuguese stay in Macau to administer this place. The Joint Declaration provided Macau with certainty. People, salaries were going up. But the main point is the central government promised Macau that Macau will enjoy stability and prosperity. Those two words were very important: stability, prosperity. That means certainty for Macau people. So they became much more optimistic than before that.
In his reporting about Macau since the mid-1980s, Brüning paid much attention to the gang violence issue, an issue affecting the region years before Macau's handover.
Gangs were fighting each other. It affected Macau's image, even internationally, and it kept people like me as journalists, we were very busy because we had to cover a lot of violent crime cases, unfortunately.
He says the situation took a drastic turn for the better after the return of Macau to the motherland on December 20th, 1999.
The interesting thing is that after 1999, Macau's public security improved, I would say, within days, just a few days after the handover. And, Macau nowadays is a very peaceful city. We almost have no violent crime for 25 years. I would say, as a Macau resident, I go home, walking home every night at like 3 a.m. in the morning to my home, about 15 minutes from my newspaper office. It's very safe.
When we asked him for the reasons behind this drastic change, Brüning gives his explanation.
I think there are many reasons. One is that after 1999, those criminals understood that they would not be allowed to challenge Macau's stability anymore, Before, Macau was ruled by a country 10,000 kilometers from Macau, So they thought they can challenge the Portuguese administration. The other reason is also that the economic situation of Macau anyhow already had improved quite a bit and then continue to improve. Most people have a stable income and feel safe.
As public security improved, Brüning had no need to pay attention to crime and focused his reporting on the economic and social development of Macau.
In the first decade of this century, Macau had one of the highest GDP growth rates in the world, actually. We had growth rates of 40%, 20% per quarter, which is not normal, right? Of course, good for Macau. Unemployment went down. Nowadays, there's basically no unemployment in Macau anymore. Macau, nowadays, in terms of GDP per capita, is one of the richest cities in the world, not only in China or in Asia, in the world. which is quite an achievement.
Macao's GDP per capita came in at nearly $67,000 in 2023, according to the World Bank. Forbes magazine ranked Macao as the third richest among countries and regions by GDP per capita as of November 2024. Among the drivers of the Macao economy, tourism stands out, as the region attracts millions of visitors from all over the world every year. In 2023, more than 28 million tourists visited Macao, according to statistics released by the Macao authorities. In the first 3 quarters of 2024, the number amounted to nearly 26 million, an increase of more than 30% compared with the same period of 2023. For journalist Harald Brüning, he is also part of the success story of Macao. In 2004, he came to a turning point of his career and launched his own media outlet, the Macao Post-Daily, the first English-language newspaper in Macao. Through his decades working in the media industry of Macao, Brüning found out that there was no locally based English-language media there. As a result, he and some friends worked together to fill the void. His newspaper targets people living in the Macao SAR who can't speak Chinese or Portuguese. Also, it serves people living outside Macao who are interested in the region. Currently, 15 people are working on the newspaper with 10 reporters and editors. Serving as its director, chief editor and co-owner, Harald Brüning is confident that his 20-year-old newspaper is a successful endeavor.
We are a mainstream newspaper. We are not sensational. We know from the reaction by the public that especially educated people in Macau, many of them read our newspaper, like business people, government officials, teachers, students, scholars. Many people read our newspaper in the library. We heard from libraries. They told us.
Nowadays, his newspaper covers a lot of what he calls livelihood issues of Macau, such as employment, schooling, and healthcare. According to his observations, Macau people are satisfied with their situation, while having concerns about some specific issues, such as public transport.
Public transport in Macau, I would say it's a problem, because we have population of almost 700,000. It's a small population compared to big cities. It's only about 10% of the population of Hong Kong, but we are also a very small territory, only 33 square kilometers. Macau's land area is about 3% of Hong Kong, but the population is 10% of Hong Kong. Macau has about 20,000 people per square kilometer. We have one of the highest population densities in the world. Many of our roads and streets are very narrow. That time when the city was built, there were not many cars here, so now there's so many cars here. Public transport is an issue in Macau. People always complain about it. And the government is trying hard for many years to solve it. Now the government is actually building a light rail system, but that also takes time,
In 2011, the Macau authorities began building the first line of the city's light rail system to help solve the public transportation problem. At present, Macau has 3 lines of light rail in operation with a total length of about 16 kilometers, while another line is being built. Brüning is confident in Macau's future development, and he believes a deeper integration with the mainland will bring greater opportunities for the region and its residents. To further enhance Macau's development, in 2021, the Chinese central government decided to build the Guangdong-Macau In-Depth Cooperation Zone on the island of Hengqin. Hengqin is located in the southern part of Zhuhai City in Guangdong Province, just across from Macau. The total area of the cooperation zone amounts to about 106 square kilometers. A central government plan defines the zone as a new platform to boost Macau's economic diversification and a new space that provides convenience to Macau residents' life and employment. Brüning views this initiative as a vital opportunity for economic growth and improving residents' livelihoods. He notes that the zone has attracted both young entrepreneurs and many retirees looking to establish businesses or settle down there.
I'm sure there will be other people moving there, and the government is offering people who move there a lot of benefits and privileges and advantages. But it's not only Hengqin, it's the Greater Bay Area, right? Taiwan Core. I think that's also very important for Macau to be integrated. I think Macau should be much more integrated into the Greater Bay Area because I think that it should be. It's good for Macau.
At present, more than 15,000 people from Macau are living in the Hengqin Cooperation Zone. As of July 2024, nearly 6,400 enterprises have been established in Hengqin by Macau citizens, showcasing the entrepreneurial spirit of the local population. When asked about whether he plans to move to Hengqin, Brüning states that he has no intention of relocating for now. Being a bachelor, he says he is fully committed to his work and really enjoys his life in the small but vibrant city of Macau.
I think I'm married to my job, I think for me, my job is a very important part of my life, maybe too important. In the 90s, it was so intensive to work as a journalist in Macau because of the handover preparations, the transition period, even the public security problems and all that. I sort of neglected my private life. That's it. But I'm happy to live in Macau. I have so many very close and good friends who sort of have become part of something like a family.
At 71 years old, Brüning has no plans to retire anytime soon.
In Macau, many media directors are even older than me. I'm 71. Some are over 80 years old and they're also still working. Well, my professional aim is to publish useful, informative, accurate, balanced newspaper like we are trying to do now, to continue informing people in Macau and those from outside Macau that they can receive accurate and balanced information.
As Macau continues to evolve, Brüning remains committed to documenting its journey, ensuring that the stories of its people and their experiences are shared with the world. With that, we conclude this edition of Footprints. Thanks for listening. I'm Bob Jones. If you're interested in hearing more about the lives of ordinary but incredible people in China, follow us on your favorite podcast platforms. Just key in Footprints and you can find more stories anytime, anywhere. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.